This is Modern Service Mastery, Business School with boots on. Real lessons, real talk, and real growth for the residential service industry. Let's get to work.
So here's the thing. I've spent decades in this industry, and if there's one truth I've learned, it's this. If you're just reacting to what's in front of you every day, you're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels. I mean, yeah, you'll get through the day, but where's the direction, the purpose?
Oh, I know that feeling. You start the day with like zero plan. By noon, tools are everywhere, someone forgot the mulch, and your client's calling asking why their backyard still looks like a crater. I used to live in that chaos.
Exactly. What we're talking about here is shifting from that reactive mode to something proactive, a mindset where you set clear goals for the year ahead. Goals that set the pace, give you purpose, and, let's be real, save you from endless headaches.
Right, it's like going from a Monday morning scramble to actually, knowing where your crew's headed. But let me ask you this, Mike. Where's the balance? I mean, isn't setting annual goals a little big picture-y, like borderline overwhelming?
That's fair. It can feel huge, but it doesn't have to be. That's where the SMART framework comes into play. It's all about making goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Something you can track and adjust. Kind of like giving your team a compass instead of a map that's set in stone.
SMART goals. I like it. So you're saying if you set some big flashy vision like, hey, we're going to double revenue this year, but you've got no plan to back it up, you're basically setting yourself up to fail.
Exactly, Jake. Goals are more than flashy statements. They're systems. You build them into everything, sales, operations, even customer service. Let me throw this at you. A study by Harvard Business Review found that only 14% of people with goals but no plans succeed. Add a roadmap, that number increases to 76%. Big difference, right?
Whoa, wait, what? That's nuts. Okay, picture this. My old crew, no roadmap. Every morning felt like chaos o'clock. I finally started pulling out a whiteboard, listing out priorities, kind of like micro goals for the week. Boom. Suddenly, nobody's running around like headless chickens, and our clients, happier than ever.
That's the power of clarity. You weren't just laying bricks, you were building the cathedral. When companies embrace structured goal setting, they transform. I've seen entire teams become more aligned, less stressed, growing faster because everyone knows where they're headed.
So what you're saying is annual goals basically keep you from stepping in the metaphorical mess first thing every morning.
Exactly right. And here's a little bonus. When you set annual goals, you're not just giving your team direction. You're building confidence. They see progress, they feel progress, and that breeds momentum.
Ah, momentum, the secret sauce. It's funny, though. Sometimes all it takes to break the chaos is knowing what you're working toward. Momentum. Yeah, that's the game changer. But here's what I'm wondering. Once you've got those big annual goals laid out, what's the next step? I mean, setting the goals feels simple enough, but actually making them happen, now that's where the real grind kicks in.
You're absolutely right, Jake. The goals set the direction, but the magic comes in breaking them down into actionable pieces. Think of it like building a house. You don't just wake up one morning and say, hey, let's build the whole thing today. You set smaller tasks, framing, wiring, plumbing, each leading to the finished product.
Oh, so like instead of freaking out about the whole year, you're thinking, okay, what's this week's target? What can we knock out now?
Exactly. That's where weekly scorecards come into play. These are basically your check-ins, a way to measure progress without getting lost in the big picture. You're tying actions back to your annual goals every single week. It keeps teams focused and accountable.
Wait, weekly scorecards? Are we talking like a report card for grown-ups?
Ha! In a way, yeah. But it's not about judgment. It's about course correction. You track metrics that matter. Sales, customer response times, project completions, whatever moves the needle. And at the end of the week, you review. What went right? What didn't? Where do we adjust?
Okay, so I gotta ask, how do you keep people pumped about this stuff? Because, let's be real, not everyone gets jazzed about metrics and numbers.
That's where milestones come in. I worked with this team once, and we had this huge annual goal. But you know what kept them going? Celebrating small wins along the way. Every time they hit a benchmark, we made a big deal out of it. Pizza lunches, shout-outs and meetings. You build morale while building toward the bigger picture.
Oh man, I bet the pizza alone got everyone fired up. Who doesn't love free food? But seriously, that makes so much sense. It's those little moments that keep the fire going.
Absolutely, Jake. And those small wins aren't just about morale. They also create momentum. You start seeing progress, and it fuels the motivation to stay the course. Now, there are frameworks that really help break this down. For instance, The 12-Week Year by Moran and Lennington. They flipped the script saying, a year is 12 weeks, not 12 months. That forces tighter planning and faster action.
Dang, that's tight. Like deadlines on steroids. But doesn't that kind of stress people out too? Like rushing through a year in 3 months?
Not if you focus on execution instead of overwhelm. You set clear weekly targets, rally your team, and use tools like scorecards to monitor. Plus, there's another framework called Measure What Matters by John Doerr. It's all about OKRs, objectives and key results. Straightforward, measurable, and adaptable to any kind of job, whether that's landscaping, solar installs, or even cleaning gutters.
OKRs. All right, I'm listening. So you're saying the secret sauce is setting weekly targets, tying everything back to the big annual goal, and scoring those mini wins? Sounds to me like you're basically turning an uphill climb into like a bunch of mini hills.
That's exactly the point. Whether you're a GM or a crew leader, when you set systems like these, you're making success predictable, not accidental. It's the system, not the goal itself, that gets you there.
All right, systems it is. Now I'm just wondering, how does this all stick? Like, who keeps the team accountable for showing up and hitting those goals every week?
Great question, Jake. Accountability is the glue that holds everything together. You can have the most impressive plan in the world, but if no one's owning up to it and making sure it gets done, then it's just words on paper. Let's dive into how to make accountability stick.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen crews where everyone's kind of like, oh yeah, we'll get it done, eventually. Spoiler, they never do. So what's the trick? Like accountability partners or something?
Exactly. Accountability partners, team check-ins, even self-checks. It's all about creating a culture where people are both motivated and held to a standard. The key is making sure it feels supportive, not punitive. You don't want folks hiding their mistakes. You want them owning their goals and learning from missteps.
Oh, totally. I had this crew lead I worked with who was like an accountability ninja. Every Monday morning, he'd go, all right, crew, what's our number one goal this week? And boom, we all had to chime in. No hiding, no excuses.
That's spot on, Jake. And, accountability isn't just about hitting the mark. It's about staying adaptable, too. Like, things will go sideways. It's a given. But instead of panicking, you adjust course without losing sight of the destination.
Oh, man, I've got a story for that. So we were on this backyard patio job, big deal, tight timeline, and boom, surprise rainstorm. Total mess. But we'd planned ahead, We had tarps, backup plans. We pivoted, finished it on time. And the client, over the moon.
That's a great example. Flexibility isn't about abandoning the goal. It's about finding new ways to reach it. Good leadership plays a huge role here. When leaders set clear goals but allow room for adaptation, it empowers the team to problem solve without feeling paralyzed.
Dude, totally. Like, when your crew knows the why behind the goal, they're way more likely to hustle, even when things get messy. But when it's just, do it because I said so? Nah, you've already lost them.
Couldn't agree more. Leadership isn't about micromanaging. It's about setting the tone and leading by example. And the best leaders, they make people want to succeed, not out of fear, but out of pride.
Pride, huh? That's really what it's all about. When your team knows what they're working toward and feels like they're part of something bigger, they take ownership. And man, that's when the magic happens.
Exactly, Jake. So if there's one takeaway from everything we've talked about today, it's this. Set clear goals, build systems to support them, and most importantly, create an environment where accountability and adaptability thrive. That's where the real progress starts.
Yeah, and don't forget to celebrate the wins, right? Big or small, they all keep the momentum rolling.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So on that note, let's wrap this up. Remember, annual goals aren't just numbers on a page. They're the compass that keeps your team from wandering in circles. Set the course, steer weekly, and soon you'll find yourself miles ahead.
And hey, don't forget to enjoy the ride. You earned it. Catch you all next time.
Thanks for listening to Modern Service Mastery Business School with Boots On. If this episode helped you lead, grow, or think differently, share it with your crew and keep the momentum going.